Hi, Marissa. This is Mr. Che. Sorry, I'm kind of in the dark. I just wanted a lot better lighting for the board. Sorry, my face is all kind of mysterious. But let's go with the triangle congruence one. Okay, so you have, just remember what triangle congruence is. Okay, so if I drew one triangle like this, and you told me that I had to draw the same exact triangle again, how would I know it would be the same exact triangle? So here's another triangle. And I tried to copy whatever this was. How would I know that this triangle and this triangle are equal to each other? Well, they would have to have the same sides, and they would have to have the same angles, correct? So this side will have to equal this side. This side will have to equal this side. And this side will have to equal this side. And this angle, which corresponds with this angle, would have to be equal to each other. This angle and this angle would have to be equal to each other. And this angle would have to be equal to each other, correct? But see, that takes a long time. That's 6 things that you have to teach, that you have to prove that are equal to each other. So what they do, that this chapter is teaching you, is they give you shortcuts. So they give you shortcuts like SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS. Okay, so then these are shortcuts in order for you to prove that 2 triangles are equal to each other. So the S stands for the sides, and the A stands for the angles. So for number 1, if you look at number 1, you will see right here that this triangle is like, it's kind of like this, this, and this right here. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is D, O, D, Q. I can't really see the letters, but let's just say this is D. I'm not sure what this one is, but I guess it's the O, and this is a Q, I'm assuming. It could be different, I don't know. I can't really see the letters. And this is, I'm thinking it's O, G, D. I don't know what the G is, though. O, let's say this is G, and this is D, and C, A, P. Let's say this is C, this is A, and this is P. So they gave you fill out the congruence statement. Okay, so the triangle OGD is congruent to, all right, so what corresponds with O? O corresponds with A, correct, on this triangle. G corresponds with P, and D corresponds with C. So you have to go in that order. O, which is A, so it'll be A triangle A, P, C. Okay, and that's how that one works, okay? Now, let's see here. So number 2, RAC, all right, corresponds with what? So it's going to correspond with OEG. Okay, so number 2 corresponds with OEG, and you could try to fill out the letter C for that one. All right, so LIN, and then look at what corresponds with L. E corresponds with L, A corresponds with I, and R corresponds with N. So hopefully that will help out, okay? The second page, so you could figure out number 2. And number 3, let's look at number 3 here. Let's say I have a triangle ABC. It's congruent to triangle QRS, okay? So if I'm looking for, let's say, angle B, what's that angle B equal to? Well, since this is the second letter of the statement, you look into the second letter right here. So angle B is equal to angle R. Okay, side AB, see how side AB, these are the first 2 letters? Well, what are the first 2 letters here? That is equal to QR. Okay, so those are corresponding. If I go AC, side AC, well, that's the first and third letter, then it would be QS, it's congruent to QS. Okay, so that's how you do a congruence statement, hopefully, and that will help with number 2 and 3. All right, So for number 3, you see how it's FE? What's the second and first letter? Well, then the F3A would be HE because that's the second and third letter. Oh, sorry, second and first letter of the other statement. All right. Let's go to the second page here. The second page is name the altitude. Remember, the altitude is the height of each of the following triangles. So the 2 letters. So all you have to do is just name the height. So number, you got those. CO, CT, OR, and FC. FC is good. Good. Okay, and you can also do BD, BE for letter D. All right. For each of the triangles, you are given a point. Will the altitude drawn from that point be inside the triangle? So look at point B, and let's look at that one. So here is, let's say if it was from point, this is A, B, and C, and you want to draw an altitude. Well, what's the altitude going to be? It's going to be right here, right? And is this, they're asking, is this altitude going to be inside the triangle? And in this case, it's going to be yes. What about something like this? Let's say there's another triangle like this, and let's say this is point B. Well, if I drew the altitude here from point B, this altitude is outside of this triangle, and so this will be exterior. This will not. All right, this is the outside of the triangle. This altitude is outside the triangle, so that's not the case for that problem. Okay, all right, and hope that helps. So from point E, yeah, like let's go to, yeah, hopefully you could get those. So like, let's just say, look at point E real quickly, or letter E. Letter E is something like this, where it's E, D, F, and this is 120. And so they're asking, can you draw an altitude from point E? All right, well, I would say no, because the altitude would be, or it would probably have to be, well, the height would probably have to be here or here. Okay, so each of the triangles you're given a will the altitude drawn or the leg of the triangle. So I would say if you want to draw a height from point E, then you would have to kind of rotate it. It would be something like this. Oh, it would probably be something like this. It's like this, this, this. And so for point E, it would be outside of, I just rotated this over to here. So this is E, this is F, and this is D. And this altitude right here would be outside of this triangle. I just moved it over a little bit. Okay? All right, last one is, these are the, I think, the altitudes, the medians. All right, and so remember what medians are? The medians are, here's a triangle. Let's say this is a triangle. It's from one vertex to the midpoint on the opposite side of the triangle. And so here's the vertex, here's the midpoint of the opposite side, and these are just, you just connect these. Okay, let's say this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint. Okay, what you're going to find out is this portion and this portion right here. This is 2/3 of the whole thing. So let's say this is A, this is B, and this is C. Let's say AB is 9. Okay, how do you find what this is right here? Well, if this whole thing is 9, you multiply AB times 2/3. So AB is 9, so it'd be 9 times 2/3, which is then 18/3, which is then equal to 6. So this portion is equal to 6. All right? Then this has to be 1/3 of that, and since this whole thing is 9, this portion has to be 3. Okay? All right, so let's do one of the problems that you have. So let's do number 5. Number 5 is something like this. It's this here, this here. This is D, this is Q, this is Z, this is F, this is Y, and this is X. All right, so they're saying find ZQ. this portion right here, they want to find this, if ZD, this whole thing is 6. So if that whole thing is 6, we have to multiply 6 times 2 over 3. Because this whole quantity right here is 6. This portion right here is 2/3. So you multiply this by, this will be 12 over 3, which means that this is 4. So this portion is 4. That means that DQ right here is 2. Okay? If, let's say, BV is 3.9, you got it right. So BV is 3.9. BG, you put 3.9 times 2 over 3, and you got the right answer at 2.6. Okay? Find DH. If BH is 4 and 4.5, so you are correct on DH. You just multiply 4.5 times 2 over 3, and that's 9 over 3, which is equal to 3. Then, since you're asking for the smaller portion, you just divide this by 2, and that'll equal 1.5. So good job on that. All right, it seems like you have most of it down. Let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.